Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. We'll be spending the next hour and a half together. And for those of you who are new, we alternate every week. This week, we're going to be learning how to um, doing the breathing exercise, right? So after class last week, I believe it was on Monday or Sunday, I posted a video on YouTube, Facebook, uh, Patreon, as well as um, our Insight Timer group. And of the video that was posted by a young monk from Germany that talks about the five things that we need to maintain in order to enhance our health. In this case, is really more about our health span as opposed to just simply lifespan. And the five things are daily exercise, plenty of sunlight, very important to have good quality sleep, and then finally maintaining the strength of the lower part of our body, and then also learning Tai Chi or yoga or Qigong or all those traditional exercise that primarily focus on abdominal breathing. So that's what we're going to do today. And and before we do that, we're going to be doing some joint exercise. But keep in mind that this hour and a half boot camp is all about mindfulness meditation. The only difference is that we sometimes practice when we're sitting still, when we're standing, and on occasions, even when we lie down, or we practice when we're moving or when we're exercising. And just keep in mind that mindfulness in this case just means anchoring your mind on your breath when you're not moving, anchoring your mind on your body when you're doing exercise or when you're walking. So we're going to start with some joint exercise. The six joints that we need to work on are our wrist, our elbow, our shoulder, and then their corresponding part, which would be the heel, the knee, and then the hip. All right, all six of them. And so we're going to start with the three joints on upper body. But before we do anything, let's come back to our body, anchor our mind on the body, anchor our mind on our lower back, and then from the lower back, walk up the spine towards the top of the head. As you do that, I want you to stretch the spine, and then lean back the upper torso, relax, lift up your shoulder, open that shoulder, and then relax. So that's a proper sitting position. Then we want you to anchor your mind on the center of your palm. Bring up your hands, mind, body together. That's the meaning of yoga. And once you get your arm up on the shoulder level, then I want you to anchor your mind on your wrist. Then I want you to turn your wrist one turn at a time. Now, when you turn your wrist, it's important to understand that each turn has a beginning and an end. And then at the beginning is when you want to develop this habit of asking yourself, where's my mind? Oh, my mind ought to be on the wrist. So let's focus on the wrist. And as you turn, you make the commitment to follow through. And when you get to the end, that's the completion. That's when you ask yourself, let me do this one more time. So essentially, we're practicing the three things of our mindfulness foundation. Start with the faith, then the anchoring, then the diligence, one turn at a time. As you turn your wrist, it's important that you focus on the wrist, examine the wrist, see if there's any change in your wrist, any heat, any sweat, any numbness, any tightness. And then now we're going to turn the other way around, one turn at a time, one turn at a time. And now we're going to lower wrist, but before we do that, let's anchor our mind on the center of your palm, bring it back down the same way you brought it up. Then we come back to the spine again, stretch the spine, lean back, lift up the shoulder, open the shoulder, relax. We're going from the wrist to the elbow, so let's focus on the center of your palm again. Bring it up slowly, all the way up, and then now focus on the elbow, one turn at a time. Once again, separate the turn into the beginning and the end. And the beginning is when you want to ask, am I focusing on the elbow or somewhere else. Bring it back, turn, another one. Examine the change, one turn at a time, one turn at a time. And then now the other way, one turn at a time, one turn at a time, one turn at a time. And let's lower our hand, bring it back to the center of the palm, bring it back down. And once again, back to the spine, lift up the spine, stretch towards the ceiling, lean back, lift up the shoulder, open the shoulder, completely relax. Now we're going from the wrist to the elbow to the shoulder. Let's focus on the center of the palm, bring it up, cross the hand, slowly in front of us, on top of us. And then we're going to stretch all the way to the ceiling. And before we come down, let's focus on the center of the palm. Turn the palm outward, open the shoulder, feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of that pain, anchor your mind on the center of the palm again. Bring it up in front of you, on top of you. Stretch towards the ceiling. Turn your wrists, so point the center of the palm outward. Open the shoulder, feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of that pain. Come back to the center of your palm. Stretch. Open the shoulder, feel the pain. Let go of the pain. Come back to the center of your palm. Up again. Stretch. Open the shoulder, feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of the pain. One more time. Focus on the center of your palm, in front of you, on top of you. Stretch towards the ceiling. Focus on the center of the palm. Turn your palm outward. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of the pain. Now we're going to go the other way. Open first. Stretch. All this time, anchor your mind on the center of your palm, nowhere else. Stretch, and then bring it back down. Open first. Stretch. Bring it back down. One more time. Open first. Stretch, and then bring it back down. Now we're going to go from front to back. And then once again, back to the spine. Stretch the spine towards the ceiling. Lean back, upper torso. Lift up the shoulder. Open the shoulder. Relax the shoulder. And then now anchor your mind on the center of your palm. Bring it up in front of you. Slowly follow the center of your palm on top. And then stretch the spine. Open the shoulder. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Come back to the center of your palm. Back again. Open the shoulder, feel the pain on your shoulder, let go of the pain, come back to the center of your palm. Feel the pain on your shoulder, let go of the pain, come back to the center of your palm. One more time. Open your shoulder, feel the pain on your shoulder, let go of the pain, sit up straight. We're going to go back to front, all the way back. Lift it up, stretch, bring it back down, all the way back. Stretch, bring it back down, all the way back. Stretch, and then bring it back down. Now we're going to go from moving to not moving. So I mentioned how we can practice mindfulness both when we're moving and we're not moving. So now we're going to focus on a breath instead. So before we anchor our mind on any part of our body to focus on the breath, let's start with just knowing. I know that I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. I can feel my body changes as I breathe in. I can feel my body changes as I breathe out. One breath at a time. Now, this is a real struggle. Your mind's not going to want to do that. Your mind wants to do something else. We call that the monkey mind. So it's very important that you keep training yourself to bring it back to the breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Okay. Now, one reason that we anchor our mind is because we don't want to follow the pain and let it become suffering. Okay. Pain we experience every day, whether it is physical pain on the body or mental pain, right? It's all around us. And the trick is we guard our senses, we guard our eyes, our ears, our nose, our tongue, our body, and our mind in such a way that when the pain comes, we feel it, we accept it, and then we let it go, right? If you don't let it go, then you're going to follow that, right? So I often use the um, example of use the analogy, actually more like analogy of watching the wave, right? I grew up in a small town south of the Pearl Harbor called Macau. It's the oldest colony in Asia. This one is actually occupied by the Portuguese, and so it's surrounded with water, and so I grew up with that environment, kind of old fishing village, kind of, even though it was very modern. Um, and I get a chance to really experience the wave, and but keep in mind that it's not the same as being in Hawaii or something where you have beautiful beaches, right? This is actually outside the river delta, and so you actually see a lot of debris in the sand. And I get used to seeing the wave coming up and the wave going back. Now we often think that wave comes from the wind. Actually, not so much. You can actually have wave without the wind because the wave is actually just the earth turning, and as it turns, the water slash back and forth. And so you could have a night where there is no wind, but as the water comes up, it brings the wind, and you can feel the freshness of the air as the wave comes in. And then when the wave recedes back in the ocean, all of a sudden you views all the debris, all the garbage on the sand, and amazingly, the water just kind of brings some of that out into the ocean. And so very often I think of that as I practice my mindfulness meditation. And as I feel the pain on my shoulder, I get from the accepting part. And this is like, do you want to grab onto the garbage or you just want to let it go? And if you just let it go, then it cleans the beach. It's the same way. Don't let the pain become suffering, because if you grab onto the pain, you don't let go of the pain, then it becomes suffering. Just let it go. Let it go, right? So we're going to practice one more time using this simple exercise to practice the three stages of letting go. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Now, keep in mind that by letting it go, it needs technique. Letting go is not just a mental practice. It requires you to come back to the anchoring. All right, you got to put your mind somewhere. The mind is like the child that you try to walk, bring the child to school. You got to hold on to it, right? If you don't hold on to it, then the mind would drift away, and you can't. You lose control of your own mind. All right. So one more exercise, and then we're going to start sitting meditation. All right. So let's come back to the spine. Stretch your spine. Lean back. Relax. Lift up a shoulder. Open a shoulder, and then relax. Now, this exercise is not just the shoulder, but it's actually separated the body into two halves, and therefore thereby utilizing only half of the brain. And this is an interesting technique to let go, right? So you switch from one side of the brain to the other side as you let go. All right. So sit up straight again. Put your hands in front of you, the left hand in front of you. Stretch out the right arm. Now we're going to focus on the palm of the right arm, which means that we're using a left brain. We're going to bring a right arm in front of us slowly, and then we're going to open that shoulder, and we're going to feel that pain on the shoulder, and we're going to ask ourselves, accept that pain, and then let go of the pain, switching from the left brain to the right brain, focusing on the left arm now, and then left, open the shoulder, Feel the pain on the shoulder. Accept that pain. Let go of the pain, focusing on the right arm now. Again, open the shoulder, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Focusing on the left arm. Always anchoring your mind when you say to yourself, I want to let it go. But that means that I want to focus my mind now on a place other than my pain. All right? Now, left, open, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Two more times. Sit up straight using the left brain. Open the shoulder, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Focusing on the left arm using the right brain. And then one last time, open it, feel it, and accept it, and then let it go. And come back to the breath. I know I'm breathing in. All right. So it's very important to keep reminding yourself and ask yourself, am I moving? Am I not moving? If I'm moving, I want to anchor my mind on my body. Even when I'm walking in Costco, pushing the car, I want to focus on on the bottom of my feet. I want to focus on my fingers. Focus it on somewhere. And then when you're not moving, when you're sitting in a doctor's office, then you come back to the breath. So now we're going to come back to a breath and start with knowing. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out, one breath at a time. Okay. All right. So that was the exercise. Basically, is what we call the mindfulness of the feeling. To start with the feeling of the body, and then someday we work on using that as a way to develop a new habit, which is always to say, whenever I don't feel well, whenever somebody says something that is not nice, that causes pain, well, let me just accept it and then let it go. Let it go because it's in the past, right? No reason to grab onto the past. It's like no reason to grab onto the garbage on the beach, right? Let nature take care of itself and just let it go, right? It's not just the garbage on the beach, right? You see footsteps on the sand, you see all kinds of stuff on the sand. It just kind of smooth the sand. It's the same way, all right? So it takes a lot of work, and every day we do the same thing. Practice, practice, practice. Now we're going to go from the joint exercise. We're going to spend a little bit of time on sitting meditation, start to learn how to meditate by focusing on the breath, but not just breathing through a nose, but entire cycle of breath from the abdomen to the nose and back again. It's kind of like thinking of a blacksmith. I used that example in the past, that the belly is actually like a bellow, right? Proper way of breathing is with the belly, not with the upper part of our body. And keep in mind that the lung has no muscle, so it has to use muscle somewhere. And when we were born as a baby, the only muscle that we have is the diaphragm, because that's the muscle we need when we're inside the womb to not only transfer food, nutrient into the fetus, but also in our thinking is transfer the energy. So we always have that. It's just that as we grow old, we become more anxious, more stressed. And this material is very interesting. It's what we call the viscoelastic material. As you gain stress, it just becomes harder and harder to activate. And so we move from the diaphragm to more like the upper part of the shoulder. And what we want to do is bring it back to that. I'll talk more about that as we practice. So when we sit down, we pay attention to our breath. It's not just breathing through the nose. That's like the chimney on the blacksmith has the bellow and then the chimney. It's really the whole cycle. All right. And before we do that, let's loosen up our diaphragm, loosen up the entire body. And the next exercise basically activate the vagus nerve. All right. And the vagus nerve is the longest nerve of our body. It actually starts in the neck, sort of below the ear, all the way down, and then also inside and connect all the internals. And so, very simple exercise. Let's stretch your spine again. Always stretch your spine. Always lean back. Always lift up a shoulder. Always open a shoulder and then lean back. Now we're going to take a thumb and we put that in front of a shoulder. We roll up our fingers. Now this exercise is simple and is separated into four stages. The first one, we follow our elbow, we lift up our elbow, we lift up our shoulder, we lift up our upper torso as if we're bringing our shoulder to our ears. We continue to follow the elbow. The next one stage is when we point the elbow back, we open our shoulder as if all the way out, as if we're squeezing a tennis ball in the back. The third one is when we lower our elbow again, we relax. And then finally, we point the elbow forward, we look down, we bend our back as well as neck. Now from here, we're going to lift up. We're looking straight ahead all the way up. Then we're going to open, follow the elbow, looking slightly towards the ceiling, all the way back. And then we're going to bring it down, all the way down, looking at the floor, pointing the elbow forward. As we lift up, we close our mouth, we slowly breathe in, we breathe in all the way until we open our shoulder. And then as we bring down our elbow, we breathe out. We breathe out all the way until we are completely bent. Breathe in, lift up, open, breathe out, pointing down, relax all the way out until we point our elbow forward. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, it's very important that you relax. And last week I talked about how stress comes from our expectation. And even in something like that, sometimes we are so focused on perfection, we're expecting ourselves to do this and do that. Put away all that. Close your eye. Nobody's seeing you anyway. Just lift up, breathe in, open, relax. It's all about just relaxing. Breathe in, open the shoulder, and then breathe out. No expectation, no judging. Breathe in and breathe out. All right. Now, hopefully, you're totally relaxed. And now we can start our sitting meditation. And we're going to start just doing two basic practice. And one has to do with our stomach, and one has to do with combining the breathing with our scanning of our body. And so after we do that, then we're going to do more exercise. Then we're going to do the floor exercise for the breathing. Then we come back and do more meditation. All right. So this first two are just basic. So first we're going to come back to our body. Always come back to our body. Now this, to know to sit properly, you need to divide the body into seven parts. The first are the legs. So it's very important that you sit properly. Keep in mind that when we sit like the bell. When we stand like the pine tree. Right? When we walk like the wind. And when we lie down like bow and arrow. So when we sit like the bell, which means that the legs are the pedestal for the bell, which means that we have to sit properly as if this is the frame. And so if you sit like I do, try not to use the muscle. Try to put some blankets and pillows beneath if you have to, or if you could just like, really sit flat like this without using the muscle. That's what we want. The second one is that you sit without lifting your arm. Because when you lift up your arm, or even when you do your fingers, this finger posture, it actually uses your muscle. So just relax, relax. This is what it's all about anyway. It's about relaxation. So relax your hands, relax your fingers. And then this is the second part. The third part is the most important part, which is your spine. And so you focus on the lower part of your spine. You walk up the spine, you stretch as if someone is pulling your spine towards the ceiling. If you sit like the bell, then your spine is the clapper inside your bell. You need to hang that onto the ceiling. All right. Now you take your upper torso, you lean back. And as you lean back, you feel a little bit of lightness in your body because you're not using muscle anymore. You're actually putting the weight of your upper torso on the spine as opposed to supporting it with the back muscle. All right. Then you go to your shoulder, you lift up your shoulder, you open the shoulder, and you relax the shoulder. Remember, I talked about how these days, as we grow old, we tend to use the upper part of the body to breathe. So there's a lot of stress in our shoulder. So it's important that you lift it up, you open that, and then you relax. Now, then it comes to your head. We are constantly using the neck muscle to support the head. So let's lean back the forehead. So you put the ears on top of your shoulder. The weight of the head now is on top of your spine. You're not using the neck muscle anymore. Then you just tuck in your chin slightly so the top of the head is on top of your spine. The Chinese actually call this one pillar supporting the sky. Then you come to your forehead, you relax your forehead. Then you come to in between your eyebrow, you relax that too. Then finally, you relax your eyelid. Think about how the baby sleeps. They don't shut the eye, they just close the eyelid. So when they close the eyelid, you look at them, you say, oh, they're just pretending to sleep because I can see a little bit of the eye. Well, actually, no, that's the natural state. So you want to do that. Just relax your eyelid, but don't shut it as if the eyelids are the drapes. Just lower down the drapes. You can actually see a little bit of light coming through the eyelashes. That's good. Finally, you want to close your mouth. Then you want to take the tip of the tongue and put it behind the teeth, where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth. You close your mouth. Then immediately you feel the wetness inside your mouth because you're activating the rest and digest, the parasympathetic nerve when you do that. And once you get all your position right, then you come back to the belt, to the belly, and you focus on your breath. You start with knowing. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out one breath at a time. Once you know that you're breathing, congratulations. Now you want to anchor your mind on the belly button. And when you know that you're breathing in, I want you to relax your belly button, relax your butt, your abdomen, as if you're bringing the belly button forward. And when you breathe out, I want you to bring back your belly button, collapsing your stomach. When you breathe in, relax, open the stomach, bring the belly button forward. When you breathe out, bring the belly button back, collapsing the stomach. So it might not be very natural. It takes practice. First thing you have to do is relax. If you don't relax, nothing happens. Relax the stomach when you breathe in, bring it back when you breathe out. And when you do that, you're actually activating the diaphragm. So let's try that for 3 minutes. Might be difficult because as much as I ask you to relax, just asking you to relax actually puts a lot of stress on you, right? So just relax. Breathe in, open the stomach, bring the belly button forward, breathe out, bring the belly button back. It's a basic exercise to pay attention to your stomach when you breathe in and when you breathe out. Now, a little bit, even a little bit of that exercise, I think it raises your awareness. So now, if you let go of the belly button and just focus on your breath and just say, I know I'm breathing in, you feel the stomach move a little bit. The stomach actually expands when you breathe in. And when you breathe out, the stomach collapses a little bit on its own. Now keep that sensation. The next part, we're gonna bring the breath and the body together. And let's come back to our body. Let's stretch our spine. Let's lift up our shoulder. Let's open the shoulder. Let's lean back up our torso and then relax. This time, I want you to focus on the lower part of your spine and just wait to examine, you wait to experience your breathing. As you breathe in, your stomach opens slightly. Then I want you to just go from the bottom of your spine, up the spine, slowly, all the way to the top of the head. As you feel that you're breathing out, your stomach collapses a little bit. I want you to come from the top of the head into along your forehead, along the bridge of your nose, and then across your tongue, and then back to the belly button. As you breathe in, you stretch your spine towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, you lean back and you relax. Now, when you breathe in, you're actually breathing in oxygen. That's the essence of life. As you go up, you can actually feel that energy in your spine, and that's the beginning of life, right? Your breath is like the life is an analogy of your life. There's a beginning and an end. And when you breathe in, that oxygen enters into your bloodstream. You can actually feel it. You feel the life in you. Then when you breathe out, you imagine that is the end of one cycle. And you lean back, you relax. And that's when the time you say, I'm going to accept that. Then you wait for the next breath. You feel it. And then when you breathe out, you accept it. Once again, let's focus on the ocean as I normally do. When the water comes in, I feel the freshness in the air. That's when I go up. In my back, I feel the life in me. And then as the water recedes, that's when I breathe out. I come from the top of my head down to my belly button. I lean back and I relax. And I imagine the wave is taking away all my suffering, all my trouble, as if just like it brings all the debris into the ocean, and it washes the sand, erase any of the footprints or whatever you left behind, just give you a fresh start. So that's what I want you to think about. You breathe in, you feel the life in you, you feel it, and then when you breathe out, you come back from the top of the head to the belly button, and you accept that. Not only do you accept it, you accept it as a rebirth, giving you another chance in life, just like the ocean. All right, so let's sit for 5 minutes, right? Let's practice that. So this is really a practice of the breath, practice of the body, and then practice on the mind. You feel it and you accept it. And what you feel is the life in you. That's when you want to be very grateful. And then when you come down, it's the acceptance part. Those are the two parts. I will talk about the other two, but those are the two parts that is important when you practice your mind. It is to be grateful and to be forgiving or to be accepting. Okay, let's sit for 5 minutes. Practice your body, practice your breath, practice your mind. Focus on what we call the kusala, which translates into what we call the skillful or the merit. Grateful, forgiveness, acceptance. I'm grateful when I breathe in as I rise on my spine, stretching my spine. And as I calm down, I accept the world as it is. Okay, open your eyes. We're going to continue to meditate after we have a chance to do more exercise. All right. So the other day with my Cantonese students, I talk about how I have four parents, right? My wife's in-laws, my own father, and my mother. So my in-laws have passed away, and so is my father. And um, and so I have at least three opportunity to comfort them as they take their last breath. Um, and so they're not particularly religious. They you can say that they're Buddhist, but they're not really. But actually, it transcends religion. It transcends religions. That is important. That if you have a chance to um, comfort someone as they walk their last steps in life, that they walk towards light, not towards darkness. Now, that's obviously true at the end of your journey, but it's also true on every breath. So you have to think of your breath as a cycle of life. There's a beginning, and then there's the end. The end is actually a rebirth. You get a general chance at it, and it's very important that every breath you walk towards light and not darkness. Yes, we're surrounded by darkness, but that's not a good excuse for you to walk towards darkness. So, how do you do that? Well, this is what I do in the three occasions where I see my parents holding their hands is that I do four things. And not only I do four things, but I ask everyone else to do only these four things and nothing else. To say thanks, to say sorry, to say love, and to say goodbye. Only those four. Focus on those four and help that person walk towards light. And that's true even when you're alive. Every breath, you say thanks, you say, I'm sorry. I did the best I could. I accept it as is. You say love. And then you say goodbye as if there's another breath coming. And that actually is the full practice, is the gratitude, is the acceptance, it's the connections, right? It's the sharing, all four important, right? So that's what we do here. That's what I do here. Focus on gratitude versus focus on acceptance. All right. Okay. So we're going to do more exercise now, and then we're going to get down on the floor doing the main exercise of today, which is about abdominal breathing. So let's do some stretching, particularly stretching the back of the body, which is facing the sun. That's why the monk says it's very important that you receive enough sunlight because you want the yang energy in the universe to be part of the yang energy in the body, which is mainly in the back and the side. It's all facing the sun. So we're going to be stretching not the muscle, but what we call the connective tissue. Okay. The most important connective tissue is in fact the diaphragm. So let's take 3 deep breaths first. So let's sit up straight, stretch your spine, lift up a shoulder, open that shoulder, lean back, and then relax. Let's put our hands together, locking our fingers, put that on the belly button. And then we're going to lift up the hands. We're going to take a deep breath. Then we're going to turn our hand, and then we breathe out, following the hand. Stretch, lock the elbow, looking straight ahead, and then use the muscle as if you're climbing the mountain. Relax, breathe in, breathe out, lock the elbow, looking straight ahead, climb the mountain using your shoulder, your elbow, the upper part of your arm. One last time, breathe in, breathe out, looking straight ahead, climb the mountain, and then back again, locking your fingers, palm facing up. Turn your hand, palm facing down, push, lock your elbow, looking straight ahead. Bring your elbow in front, bring your palm in front of you, bring your palm on top of you, and form a straight line between the bottom of your spine, the top of your head, and the center of your palm. And we push as hard as we can. Then we lean to the left, stretching the spine. We come back to the middle, And we push as hard as we can. And then we lean to the right, stretching the spine. Come back to the middle. Stretch as hard as we can. Lean to the left. Come back to the middle one last time. Stretch. Lean to the right. Come back to the middle. Focus on the center of your palm. Bring it back down. Relax. Once again, stretch your spine. Open the shoulder. Lean back. Relax. Now we take a right hand, put that on the left shoulder, lean back to the top of the forehead. So we're putting stress on the right shoulder. Take your left hand, grab the right elbow, sit up straight, and then we're going to stretch the spine to the left. Come back, sit up straight, do the other side, grab the left elbow and stretch to the right, and then come back. Focus on the breath. Now, when you do your energetic exercise, you come back to your breath. The first thing you want to notice is that, am I huffing and puffing? Yes, you are, because you just finished your exercise, which means that my mind is also huffing and puffing. So I'm going to focus on my breath, one breath at a time. And when you do that, you notice your breath, your breathing slows down, which reminds that your mind is also slowing down. You're now leaving the fight or flight, you're entering into rest and digest. You can actually feel the awareness inside your mouth now. Okay? So it's always important to cycle you back and forth like that to maintain that harmony between the two autonomous systems. All right? Stretch your spine, open your shoulder, lean back, and relax. Now let's take a left hand and the palm facing up. Let's take a right hand, put that between your fingers in your palm, bring down your palm, and then push out your elbow, looking straight ahead. Use your elbow to push up your arm all the way out. Now sit up straight without turning your upper torso. Let's take the left arm and bring it to the right, and then locking your elbow, and then back and relax. The other side, sit up straight, palm facing up. Put your fingers between put your left hand between the fingers in your palm. Bring down your right hand. Push out the right elbow, looking straight ahead. Bring up your arm. Without turning your upper torso, bring the right arm to the left and then come back and then relax. Back to the breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Now, this is very important to maintain that harmony between yang and yin, right? Yang is the energetic. So when you're in the yang, your energetic mode, your body thinks that you're in danger. It doesn't know that you're actually just doing exercise for fun of it. It thinks that you're being chased by wild animals. So it puts out stress hormone, which is good. It reduces the inflammation in your body. But then as soon as you do that, you come back, and this is like the fight or flight, and then come back to the rest and digest because now you want to restore that sensitivity to the steroid. Okay, so these days I keep seeing articles from the medical journal, medical community that says, "Oh, you know why we're having all these problems, high blood pressure, the cholesterol, and all that? It's because your body is inflamed." Well, of course it is. And what we find is that when your body inflames, your body is full of cortisol. So the cortisol is a problem. Wait a minute. Cortisol is steroid. So when your body inflamed, you should have a lot of steroid. So what's going on? Well, it's because you actually have so much steroid in your body that you develop resistance. So this is what we say is that we want to restore that cell healing power. We want to make use of that steroid, not the stuff that you put externally, right? Very simple problem, right? All right, so continue, stretch your spine, open the shoulder, lean back and relax. Now let's take the right arm, point that to the heaven. Let's take the left arm, point that to the earth. We open a shoulder, we turn a wrist so that they're 90 degrees. We focus on the right palm. We push up as if you're pushing the heaven up until you lock your elbow, wrist at 90 degrees. Now you focus on the left palm, you push the earth down until you lock your elbow, wrist at 90 degrees. Then you take your right arm, you lean back. Then you turn your head to the left until you reach the shoulder. And then you continue to turn the eyeball so that you're looking at the back. You bring back the eyeballs, you bring back your head, and then you relax. Now do the other way. Open your shoulder, push, lock, and then right arm, push, lock. Bring back the left arm, turn the head to the right, turn your eyes as if you're looking at your back. Bring back your eyes, bring back your head, and then relax. Back to the breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Once again, I feel the wetness inside your mouth. Hydration is important, but even more than hydration, more important than hydration is what I call self-hydration. Right? If you constantly have slivers in your mouth, you're a very big step towards health. Because sliver is the agent for digestions and immunity. And if you don't have saliva, that means you're under stress. Very simple problem. All right, so let's continue. Stretch your spine, lift up a shoulder, open a shoulder, and then relax. Now let's take a hand, lock the fingers, put that in the lower back, palm facing up, turn it, palm facing down, stretch until you lock your elbow. Now focus on top of the head and also at the center of the palm at the same time. And we're going to push down a palm, lift up a head, one up, one down, stretch your spine, and then relax. We're going to lean back the forehead so we're looking at the ceiling, 45 degrees. Then we're going to lift up our arm all the way up, and then relax. Back to the breath. Restore that self-healing power, restore that sensitivity to a stress hormone. Maintain the harmony between the yin and the yang. All right, so now stretch your spine again. Lift up the shoulder, lean back, relax. Now let's take a right arm, put that on our back. All right, now make sure that we're looking straight ahead so we're not looking down. And let's focus on the right shoulder and bring it up. And then relax. Now let's do the other hand. And bring up your left shoulder. And then relax back to the breath. Now let's take our right arm and put the back of a palm or the back of a hand on the lower back. Let's point two fingers to our left shoulder. And let's bring down the right shoulder and lift up the fingers. And then relax. Turn the other hand. Sit up straight. Let's bring down the left shoulder and point the fingers. And then let's take two hands, touching the fingers. Let's look up straight. And then two shoulders. Right shoulder up, left shoulder down. And then relax. Let's do the other hip the other way. Okay, now left shoulder up and right shoulder down. And then relax. Back to the breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Slow down the breathing, slow down the mind. Feel the inside your mouth. One last exercise, we call this the reverse Buddha. Stretch your spine, open a shoulder, lean back, relax. Put the palms together, fingers pointing down, fingers pointing up. Lift up a palm. Okay, now try to touch the center of your palm. Okay, now open the shoulder, push out your palm. One open, one forward, one backward. Hold on to this. Focus on the breath. And then relax. Back to the breathing. One breath at a time. All right. So now we're ready for the floor exercise. I move a little bit stiff today because the other day I sprained my back, so it's recovering, but still. So today we're gonna limit our exercise to just the first floor. But before we do that, let's continue with the joint exercise. Right. So in Tai Chi or in Chinese Qigong, they equate the wrist with the heel, the elbow with the knee, and then the shoulder with the hip. So now we're going to work on the knee first, and just slowly 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way, 1, 2, now we're going from the knee to the heel. So right foot first, lift up the heel. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And left foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now to the toes. Now this one is actually a very important exercise. Balance, maintaining and learning how to balance is very important. It's really the key to your neurological health is be able to use the left brain and the right brain independently. And balancing requires that. And so this exercise combines many elements. So let's open the shoulder, focus on the top of the head, looking straight at the camera, and then lift up your heels, stand on your toes, and then come down and impact the heel gently. Second time, down. One last time, down. Okay, we're going to continue that balancing exercise by standing on our left foot, looking straight ahead, and we're going to kick the right foot. As soon as you kick, you come back to the top of your head. Get ready. 1, come back to the top of the head, looking straight ahead. 2, and 3. Now stand on the right foot, balance first. Lift up your left leg, looking straight ahead. 1, 2, and 3. Now to the hip. Hip is very important. As we age, we don't want to fall. And when we fall, the only thing that restores your balance is the hip. So having a flexible hip is very important. So we stand on our right foot, put our hands up, and then we lean back to the left foot, forming a straight line between the heel, the knee, the hip, and the shoulder. And we turn around that line and then come back and then relax. Second time, relax. One last time, and then relax. Okay, now we do the other way. Bring back to the right, turn forward, relax. Bring it to the right, turn forward, relax. One last time, turn forward, and relax. Okay. Okay, now we're going to do the breathing exercise. We're going to only do 4 today. The last one I don't want to do because my back still hurts. Now, the key to this is that to understand that this is a meditation. It's actually what I call mindfulness in motion. So it's very important that you anchor your mind on your body, particularly at the center of your palm as you do your exercise. The second one is that, remember, this is a breathing exercise. So it's not just the body. So you want to make sure that when you move, you open like this, for example, you don't stop breathing until your hands stop. Because what you want to do is as you open up your chest cave, your chest, you're actually breathing out, which means that this is when you want to lift up the diaphragm. So if you stop in the middle, it doesn't work. Okay. Same thing. When you collapse, you want to breathe in, pushing down the diaphragm. All right. Okay. Okay. Get ready. First one, focus on the hand, bring it up. 1, bring it towards you. 2, bring it down, lower your knee. 3, stand up straight. 4. Okay, now close your mouth, breathe in very gently. 1 and 2. Breathe in, breathe out. Relax. Breathe in, breathe out. Relax. In, follow your hand. Out. Relax. One more time. Breathe in, breathe out. Relax. Now, breathe in, cross your hand in front of you, and then breathe out. Don't stop. Breathe out all the way out, and then back. Breathe in, breathe out. And then relax, breathe in, breathe out. Don't stop in the middle, just keep going. And then back, breathe in, and then breathe out. One last time, breathe in, breathe out, in, out. Okay, now we're going to do standing meditation. Okay, now when we stand like a pine tree, which means that the bottom of your feet are like the roots. So we want to stand firmly as if you're growing roots, but the rest of the body needs to be flexible. All right, so you loosen your knees slightly, and then you focus on your breath, one breath at a time. One breath at a time. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Now, this is a challenge. So ask yourself, how many breaths can I stay focused? Maybe only one, maybe two, maybe three, one at a time. Okay. Now, the second one is called balloon breathing. So we stand with the right foot forward, we lean back, so the toes are pointing up. We're looking at the ceiling, 45 degree. We bring up my hands right high enough so you can actually feel it. It's not like this, like that. And then as you roll the body forward, you embrace yourself. And then the heel on the right foot is up. You're looking at the seat of the floor now, 45 degree. You open again, following the center of your palm. As you move forward, you breathe in gently. And then as you open, you breathe out. Don't stop. Keep breathing out, emptying your stomach. And then breathe in gently, right? The focus is on breathing out. So breathe out as much as you can, and then let the body breathe in naturally. So you're not sucking air in, you just let it breathe in. Breathe in gently, and then breathe out. Empty your stomach. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. In, out. One last time, follow your hand, breathe in, and then breathe out. Now, stay focused on the center of your palm. Bring it down. Transfer the focus from the center of your palm to the bottom of your feet. One, two. And then focus on your breath. One breath at a time. Okay. Continue with the left foot first, and then lean back. Follow your hand. Breathe in, breathe out. In, out. In, out. One breath at a time. Breathe in, breathe out. In, out. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, one last time. Follow your hand, breathe in gently, breathe out, empty your stomach, lower your hand, back to the bottom of your feet, stand properly, focus on your breath, one breath at a time. I know I'm breathing in, I know I'm breathing out. Okay, open your eyes. Now we're on the fifth, on the fourth. Fourth is called a, no, on the third, sorry. It's called a butterfly. So this one you really get to see the design of the exercise is that when you open, you breathe out, lifting up the diaphragm. When you close, you breathe in, pushing down the diaphragm. Huh? But it's also combining the muscle on your leg, balancing everything. It's a really good exercise. Okay, basically it does all four of the things that I asked. I said that it's important except the sunlight. Right? It's exercise. Is exercising also the lower part of your body, maintaining the muscle on your lower part of your body. It's breathing with your element, and it's also help you sleep. It restores that harmony between the fight or flight and the rest and digest. So it's very simple. Open your shoulder, relax, lift up your arm, and then bring it back down. Lower your knees straight down. Okay. Then lift up your arms again. Lift up your knee, your heel. Sorry, all the way up, focusing on the center of your palm until the back of the hand is touching. As you come down, breathe in. As you go up, you breathe out. You breathe out all the way. Don't stop in the middle. All the way to the top. And then you breathe in gently. Breathe out. In. Out. In. Out. Focus on the center of your palm. In. Out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One last time. In. Out. Now focus on the center of your palm. Bring it down. Lower your knee, heel, and then 1 minute of standing meditation. Completely focus on the breath. One breath at a time. Okay, now the next one is called push hand. So this time you just stand still like this. And you imagine that you have a water wheel in front of you. You bring your hands to the front. You bring it all the way to the top of the water wheel. You bring it back down. You lower your knee as if you're sitting down. And then you look straight ahead and you push through the center of that water wheel. As you bring it up, bring it down, you breathe in all the way down here. And then you breathe out. Breathe in, open your shoulder, breathe out. In, out. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, and breathe out. Back to the standing. Now, whenever I see someone practicing Tai Chi in the park or practicing this technique, which is basically uh, Tai Chi, I can tell whether the person is Western educated or not. And I myself is Western educated. And so the Western educations is all about the intellect. It's all about your brain, all about understanding and making decisions. And so they tend to be very focused on themselves and they're constantly worried about if they're doing it right, if there's something I can improve. Whereas the Eastern is less about that. It's about being with the universe. So this is Tai Chi, but it's what we call the no self Tai Chi, meaning that there's no such thing as perfection. You accept everything as is, you're just part of the universe. And you let it go. You let go of the intellect. And you use the rest of the intelligence system, which is mainly in the spine. This is where you sense the change in the environment, you sense the change in yourself without judging. Just feel it. Breathe in and breathe out. Just feel it, let it go. Breathe in, breathe out. In, out, out. Breathe in, out. One last time. In and out. And back to the standing. So this is This is the last ending, and I'm not going to do the last one because my back is still stiff. Okay. Okay, now let's come back to the sitting position. So many of you heard of, know of Bruce Lee. So I came to United States in 1971. I was 15 years old, and Bruce Lee was in his probably in his mid to late 20s. So he's about 10 years older than me. And I would say my life as an immigrant in the United States was changed completely by Bruce Lee. Because all of a sudden everybody thought that I know Kung Fu. So nobody want to mess around with us anymore. Now, Bruce Lee says something famous. He said, be like the water. What he's saying is that you are one with the environment. Don't separate yourself from the environment, which means that you let go of your intellect. And it's by letting go of your intellect that you enter into a new realm. Enter into a new realm. And so I remember one famous Indian guru talks about Bruce Lee. And this famous guru talks about nadi, which is the energy in the universe, and how the energy enters into our body. And I talk about that having 72 different streams, 72,000 streams into our body. And when these streams of energy crosses, it's called a chakra. And we often said that there's 7 chakras. No, there's actually no. It's actually 108 chakras. And the guru says Bruce Lee entered into one of the chakras. He's discovered, and he discovered um, by letting go of the intellect, by being with the water. And so he explained it by saying, "Be like the water." Okay. All right. So just let go. Let's just try to let go of intellect. And so I talked about Wabi Sabi last week, right? Wabi, the both of which are the essence of the Japanese art, which is a Zen art. One has to do with impermanence, understanding that things change. They always change. So today I noticed there are less students on Insight Timer. I assume that they are either participating or getting ready for the protests that are scheduled for today, and which is a good thing. We're a democracy. It's very important to voice our opinion. Um, we're out there because of the violence and the division and the hate. I understand all that. All I said is that don't be consumed by them. Don't be consumed by them. Right? And if you have problem with sound and video, it's best that you exit and then come back in. Okay. All right. Sometimes it does that. All right. So let's spend the next 7 minutes meditating. Let's come back. Always come back to the body. Focus on the body. Stretch your spine. Lift up a shoulder. Open a shoulder. Relax. Let's focus on the breath. Now, this time, I assure you, you will feel it much more obvious than before the exercise. As you breathe in, you feel that your stomach moves, your belly button moving forward, stomach is expanding, like the blacksmith opening up the bellow. And then when you breathe out, you feel your stomach collapses. Now, synchronize your breathing with your posture. When you breathe in, stretch the spine. When you breathe out, lean back and relax. In and then out. Now, it's very, very important that you bring that to the next level, which is not just the breath, not just the body, but your mind. As you breathe in, you feel the life energy in you. This is where you want to practice gratitude. However, you think that the world is chaotic, there's still a lot to be grateful for. Be grateful for the life in you. Be grateful for your family, your parents, your siblings, your children, and your friends, your teachers, all of those, and your first responders. And when you breathe out, you come down, you lean back, you relax. And that's where you practice forgiveness, forgiving yourself for things that you wish you had done better. When you breathe in, you stretch, you feel the life energy in you. And then when you breathe out, you relax, you practice acceptance and forgiveness. Okay, let's do that for 5 minutes. Let's do it for 7 minutes. We got time. All right. And if you need to, you can also imagine the ocean. You feel the water coming in from the ocean, bringing life energy. You feel that on your spine as you go up. And the water receding, taking away all your trouble and suffering, just the way that you bring all the garbage away from the beach, smooth out the sands. That's why you practice forgiveness. The earth that we live in has tremendous ability to forgive. And if you ever have a chance to say the last words to your loved ones, you practice these four things. You say thanks, you say sorry, you say love, and you say goodbye, as if you will see that person again in a different life. Bring that loved one to light, bring yourself to light. Practice every breath as if the in-breath is the beginning of life. Practice the out-breath as the completion of one cycle of life. Okay, open your eyes. So I remember someone told me that in the Hawaiian language, mahalo means hello, but mahalo also means goodbye. So here I talk about breathing in and breathing out, and I talk about the ocean coming up and going out. And I said, they are just live, right? The earth is constantly moving, the water is slashing back and forth. So wave is the beginning of life, and it's the completion of life cycle. The beginning and the end are the same. So the completion of life is just a rebirth. You get another chance at it. It's the end of life for the physical existence, but that's true for everything, right? You can't expect this to last forever, and there's no expectation that anything else will last forever. So here we talk about our dimensions of existence. We talk about the body, the chi, and the mind. And we talk about the mind being the thinking mind versus more the metaphysical mind. The physicist talks about the same thing. The physicists talk about particle and wave, but they also talk about something else. Now, we all know about Einstein, and we also talk about Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking is known as the greatest scientist since Einstein. Now, Einstein actually got a Nobel Prize, but not for relativity, because people didn't expect to be able to verify relativity in Einstein's lifetime. So he actually got a Nobel Prize for something else. They just gave it to him. Stephen Hawking never got his Nobel Prize because they were too far from verifying his greatest discovery, which is something called Hawkins radiation. And he basically says that, well, he's the one that interpret Einstein's relativity to come up with this idea of a black hole. A black hole is a place where a particle will enter and becomes energy. And people basically says that there's no possibility for the material and energy to escape a black hole. And Hawking says no. Our existence, the existence of our universe, is not just particle and a wave. There's something else, and he called it the data. I wish he find a better name, but he basically says that when particle enters into a black hole, something is left behind. And so he believes that there's these things that are on the outside of the black hole, and therefore we call it the radiation. So the scientists have started to understand that our existence is not just the body. The body goes back. We borrow those, right? That's why the Indians call this the fruit body. Is whatever you consume, it goes back. It has to. We borrow it. Every single molecule goes back. Well, the energy we call chi, that's not even you. That's just energies in the universe that pass through you. And so it will continue to exist with or without you. So that doesn't matter. And so there's something else. And that something else is what defines our religion. Everybody have a different interpretation. But the point is, there's the beginning of life, and then there's also the completion of life. I believe the completion is just a rebirth. I believe that we should all work very hard so that at the end of this physical life, this physical cycle, we move on to light. And not only at the end of life, but in every breath. In every breath. Because that is life. So I practice gratitude. I practice forgiveness. And then I practice it again. So in any case, it's time to say goodbye. It's a rebirth. We'll see you next time. Okay? All right. 好，星期一見啊！多謝大家支持，拜拜。
多謝，
拜拜，拜拜。
Okay, bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.